Hi, I'm Alex Allman, the creator of the Revolutionary Sex Program. Today's topic, our dirty little secret about sex. So, I have a theory, and I think it's a good one. I've been watching this stuff for a while now and making some observations on it. And I think that men have a dirty little secret about sex, and it's not what you think it is. The secret is men are afraid of sex. Now I know there's a guy out there right now, he's watching this and he's going, what are you talking about? I'm not afraid of sex. You line up 10 women right now, strip them down, and they're the ones that better be afraid. Ha ha ha. And what I think is that this guy is exactly proving my point. Men have a certain way of dealing with their fear, and it's generally not to run away, especially when men are in a group or when it's something that can come back to them in a peer pressure sort of way. And I'll tell you exactly how men deal with fear. They make jokes, and they have what we call false bravado. They kind of brag about it, and they make it look like it's no big deal to them, when in fact it's a very big deal. I'll give you an example. You get a group of teenage boys, and they're daring each other to do something that's risky or scary. Maybe just, to walk out in the cemetery at midnight or something like that. And they'll be joking, they'll be laughing hysterically, and they'll be bragging, and they'll be putting each other down and making all these little jokes. And an even more powerful example, if you've ever been in an airport when there were a group of soldiers that were deploying from their base to an area where it might be more dangerous, you'll hear them joking and laughing about killing and dying. Not something most people joke about. Why are they doing that? Well, because they're soldiers. They have a job to do, and running away is not part of that job description. They've got to get the work done. And so they cope with it the best they can. And you'll hear them make these jokes, and they'll laugh in the face of danger. And there's a lot of false bravado there. Well, if you stop for a minute and you think about the last time that you saw a group of guys talking about sex, it's kind of weird, but they're acting just like those soldiers. Now, I know those soldiers were going someplace scary, but sex shouldn't be scary. Why does it seem that men are always either making wisecracks, putting down the other guy, laughing and bragging? Now, women don't do this. Women manage to have very frank conversations about sex with each other. You see a group of women sit down and discuss sex, and they can be open and honest with each other because they're not afraid, and they can say things like, last night this thing happened, and I don't know what was going on, and I don't know if it was him or if it was me. Did I do something wrong? What do you think? And they can really discuss it without kind of making a bunch of jokes. And the very fact that men make these jokes, I think, is a real indication that there's a lot of anxiety there. And the result of that, this anxiety, is it creates a real barrier to making the kind of connection and communication, and it prevents us from getting through to our partners in a way that makes sex spectacular. And I'll go a level deeper. It is absolutely the root cause of all those things that people call sexual problems, all those little performance problems, whether it's premature ejaculation or an inability to get an erection when you want one. Everything else you can think of, all of these problems, even the attitude that a guy has about sex that maybe his girlfriend isn't so happy about, all of these things are rooted in this anxiety, this fear of sex. And for the guy who has these problems and is trying all sorts of things to get over it, physical things and psychological things and all these other things he's doing, if he just dealt with this fear and anxiety first, if he was just able to have a frank discussion about sex and just really get comfortable with who he is and what it is he's doing, chances are he'd be more than halfway to the solution of his problem. It may solve the problem completely right there. But it's this ongoing anxiety, it's the pressure that he puts on himself that makes it so difficult. So I challenge you to just try and get out there and be open, be honest, and be more authentic. Be who you are, and don't be afraid of that. Don't be nervous about that. Don't be ashamed of that. Because once you get to the point where you're not afraid of sex, when it's not a matter of anxiety, all the rest of sexual mastery will fall into line so much more easily. Now, to get a lot more information about this subject and exactly what you can do about it, if you feel like I'm talking to you right now, go to www.revolutionarysex.com. Sign up for my newsletter. There's a lot of great tips and information there, and I hope you'll join me. Thanks very much, and I'll be talking to you again soon with another tip. Thanks.